Right, so I'm going to role play a full licence holder, yeah?
Okay.
Have you ever done any training with anybody role playing a full licence holder?
No.
Right, it's not a great big deal. Don't be so picky. Remember that in the word picture, I'm probably going to be going for a driving assessment.
Okay.
I've probably been driving for about 20 years, yeah?
Sure.
Now what I mean by don't be picky is if I keep my hand on the gear lever a little bit longer than necessary, let it go, yeah?
Okay.
Let's just say we were doing something like, you know, progress hesitancy or something, or something to do with emerging.
Right.
Or something to do with I'm turning right and I've got to cross the path of an oncoming vehicle, yeah? And you ask me how am I judging it? I would say to you, I'm judging it by 20 years experience, yeah? Now that would be the right answer, yeah?
Okay.
I wouldn't, because I've learned to drive 20 years ago,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about the walk across, drive across road, yeah?
Right, okay.
Yeah? That would be just, I wouldn't remember anything about that because
Sure.
it probably wasn't even around 20 years ago.
Okay.
So you would accept my answer that
Sure.
I'm doing it, you know, I'm judging it by 20 years experience.
Right.
If I wasn't judging it right,
Right.
then you could actually pull me over and introduce me to the walk across, drive across road
Okay.
in the same way you would do if I was a normal learner, yeah?
Right. Okay.
Yeah? But I wouldn't know anything about the walk across, drive across road. So it's not good pulling me over and saying, do you remember 20 years ago your instructor told you if you can walk across, you can drive across?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember where I was last week, yeah?
Yeah.
And my name is, I don't remember. Yeah, so it's not a great big deal,
Sure.
yeah? Over here at Luton, they will give you the option, if it's a full licence holder, of actually taking the top box off and putting it in the boot.
Okay.
Yeah. He's hoping you're going to say no because he's going to waste time.
Right.
Yeah. Most other SCs will actually insist you take the L plates or the top box off. Yeah.
Right.
But he's giving you the option,
Okay.
and if he gives you the option, well, you don't be jumping out, getting wet, and
Yeah.
fiddling about taking the box off.
Sure.
So leave it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I'll give you the word picture.
Okay.
I've got one of these driving assessments at work coming up in a week's time. Yeah.
Okay.
And if I pass it, I get a better car. Yeah.
Okay.
Now this guy who's doing the assessment, I've heard from my colleagues who have already had it, that he's really, really strict on these pedestrian crossings and use of signals. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think he got knocked over on a pedestrian crossing a few years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
And the person who was doing it was signalling the wrong way as well. So
Okay.
he's got a really big thing about it.
Right.
Yeah. So what I'd like you to look at today is my how I approach pedestrian crossings
Okay.
and how I deal with pedestrians in general,
Okay.
and my use of signals by indicator only. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So for the purpose of today, you can call me Tony.
Okay.
So I've been driving about 20 years. Yeah. And I drive on a regular basis. I drive every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll hand over to you.
Okay. Right. Hi, Tony. My name is Manz.
Hello. How are you? All right?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
I understand you got a driving assessment coming up at
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. I have. Yeah.
And I understand that you want to concentrate particularly on pedestrian crossings and signals, because I understand the person that's doing your assessment is, you know, very keen
He is,
that
yeah.
people are very know how to handle a situation when they come up towards
Yeah.
pedestrian crossings. Okay. Just a quick question, Tony, and that is that how would you recognise a pedestrian crossing when you come up to one?
Oh, it's those zebra ones you can spot by the those Felicia Beacon things, can you?
Okay.
And the ones that are controlled by lights, you can you see the zigzag lines in approach, can you?
You can zigzag
Yeah.
lines, yeah. Okay. And what do those zigzag lines mean? No, let's forget that. I'll do that in a second. Okay. And what about your signals, Tony? Can you tell me what? Say you were coming up to a T-junction, for example. What would be the appropriate time at which you would then put on?
About 6 car lengths away.
About 6 car lengths
Yeah,
away. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, Tony. Well, that's good. So if you prepare yourself for me, and then what we'll do is we'll get off and we will.
Now I've got to do all this SSSM, haven't I?
Yeah, you have. I'm that's very good. If you've remembered the SSN
Yeah.
part after all these many years, that's good. Excellent. Just before you do start up the car and move away, Tony, could you just please tell me what you can see in your central mirror for me?
Oh, I can see the whole of the back window.
Okay.
And I can see a bit of my headrest and a bit of yours.
Excellent.
I can see a bit more of mine.
Okay.
And
side mirrors?
yeah, I can see 2 finger widths, and obviously I've got a hedge behind me, but I can see the top of the hedge, and
Okay.
I can see the grass on the ground, and the same in that one.
Excellent. Okay, Tony. Well, if you do your safety checks and start up, and then
And
we'll go for a
We're going to
drive.
make our way around to the right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're going to turn left out of the car park. Yeah?
Okay. All right, Tony. So we're going to make our way to the right, and then we're going to turn left out of the car park. Okay, Tony, so what sort of things are you going to be looking out for on approach to these pedestrian crossings that we talked about?
No, pedestrians, I suppose. I've got an indicator.
Yeah, the pedestrians are the only things you're going to be looking out for.
Cats and dogs, I suppose.
Cats and dogs, yes, there could be people walking cats and dogs, but you've also got sometimes kids on bikes, cyclists.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
There's also something that you need to be aware of, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just tell me when you come across a pedestrian crossing, Tony.
But this is not a crossing, is it?
It is a pedestrian crossing, yeah, and the way you can tell it's a pedestrian crossing is you've got those yellow boxes on
No,
them.
it's got no zigzag lines though, is it?
It hasn't, but this is what we call a hybrid crossing. It doubles up as a pedestrian crossing.
Oh, the two are combined together, are they?
That's right, yeah. So ultimately what happens is when you press the button, keeps all the lights on red for a certain period of time so you can cross.
Yeah, so how would I know I'm coming up to one, that I'm actually coming up to one of them then?
Well, they've got those yellow boxes on the lights.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so that's an
Now,
indication.
we're going to turn right.
And we're going to turn right here, Tony. So that's a giveaway sign, really, which tells you that a pedestrian can actually use this.
Oh, right.
These set of traffic lights as a crossing as
That
well.
makes sense.
Yeah. And what sort of speed do you think you would use on approach to these crossings, Tony, or any crossing, pedestrian crossing for that matter, once you've spotted it?
Oh, speed I can stop at, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's busy here today, isn't it?
It is,
Oh, it's giving me a dirty look behind. What is that?
yeah. It can't be your driving, Tony.
Hey?
I said it definitely can't be your driving.
I think he was going. Oh, was he wondering where I was going or something?
You're indicating, oh yes. Right, the reason he was giving you a dirty look, Tony, was because you didn't put on your indicators.
Yeah, but I was in the right position though, wasn't
You was in the right position, but it's also important for you to... Oh yeah, because it's pedestrian. Okay, so it's also important that you, even though you're in the right positions, it's important that you reinforce your position in the road by using your indicators, because you were coming up to a roundabout, and because you didn't have your indicators on, the people around you... This is a phase 2, isn't it? Why is it important, Tony, that you...
That's going to follow the road straight over.
Follow the road straight ahead, Tony. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So, why is it important that you use your signals on approach to roundabouts and junctions?
Yeah, that's why it's to let people know, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And what are the consequences of you not putting your signals on, Tony?
Well, car drivers and pedestrians wouldn't know where I'm going, wouldn't they?
Okay, and so if we take that last example for instance, where you was approaching that roundabout and you didn't put on a signal, what were the consequences of you not putting on a signal there, Tony?
I got a very dirty look from that guy behind me.
You did, that was just a look, but what were the potential consequences of you moving off and not indicating?
I Well, I suppose they wouldn't have known I was going round to the right.
Exactly. And not only they wouldn't have known, but the cars approaching from your right hand side also wouldn't have an idea of the fact that you were going to turn right, would they?
No.
Yeah? So why is it important that we signal in plenty of time, Tony?
To give people time to react.
That's right. Yeah. And what are the consequences of us not doing that?
They won't have time to react, and they might come out in front of me or something.
Okay. All right, Tony. Good. Okay. I just noticed that you put your signal on there, Tony.
Oh yeah, I always do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are the okay? That's okay. That's okay. Why did you put your signal on there, Tony?
Oh, to let everybody know I'm moving around a parked car.
Okay, but in my opinion, that's a confusing signal because we only put on signals to let other road users know when we're turning left or right. Now, you weren't actually turning left or right. All you were doing, you was moving out. So what would be the consequences to other road users if you weren't going to turn left or right and you put on your if you weren't going to turn right and you just put on your right indicator to move around a car? What would the consequences to other road users be?
Well, I thought it would be very helpful to let them know that I'm moving out to go around and park cars.
Well, not really, because the fact that you're actually moving out anyway, the position of your car dictates dictates your signal. Okay, so when you're moving out around a car, your position in the road, in the car you're in, actually dictates your signal anyway.
Turn left.
And then we're going to turn left here, Tony. Okay, so can you now understand why it's dangerous to put on a left signal, a right signal when overtaking a car or going round a car, not overtaking?
Oh, you didn't say it was dangerous, you said it was confusing.
It was confusing, but it can also be dangerous, can't it?
Can it?
Yeah, because if you had a pedestrian in front of you and you indicated right and they assumed that you were going to turn right when in fact you was actually going to go round the vehicle.
Oh, you mean that they might think I'm turning right?
Exactly, they might, right. Yeah, precisely. So it would put them in a situation whereby they could start to cross and you would effectively carry on going straight when you're indicating to go right.
Get you, yeah.
So why is it important?
They're going to come back in now, don't they?
Okay, again, similarly...
And we're going to turn left.
And we're going to turn left. Similarly, the same implies when you're coming back in after going round a car. It's important that you don't signal to come back in because it could be a confusing signal, especially around here. People might think you're turning into a driveway or something.
Yeah, that's not dangerous, isn't it?
Well, it would be if you're not actually going to do the turn and there's
left.
Pedestrians in front of you. Turn left at the end of this road, please, Tony. Okay, so just tell me, Tony, why is it dangerous to put on confusing signals?
Well, you said I might confuse people and they might think I'm turning into a driver or something.
Absolutely, and what are the consequences of you doing that?
I don't really know, really.
Well, the consequences are that what would happen is if you put on a misleading signal, the pedestrians and other road users won't have a true indication of what you're about to do. All they're going to do is they're going to see your indicators and make their own assumptions.
I understand the one for turning right, but I don't see a problem with the one indicating to come back in again.
Well, the one with coming back in is because you're indicating, and we're going to turn left here. The problem with coming back in is that if you put on your left indicator, pedestrians might assume that you're turning into a driveway and just about to turn into your own driveway along the road. And if they want to cross and you've got a left indicator on, they might think that you're about to turn in. And when you don't turn in, and if they start to cross, you could actually go into them.
And we're going to turn left.
And we're going to turn left here, Tony.
Oh, it's only pedestrians then?
Well, not just pedestrians. Also, if there's a T-junction ahead of you and there's other road users, like a car emerging or something, and you put that indicator on, you would be giving them the signal that you would want to turn left, and effectively you would be going straight, and you could have a collision there as well.
So what you're trying to say is that if I indicate to come back in, they might think I'm parking.
That's right, absolutely. That could be another consequence.
And if they try overtaking me,
yeah, they could go into oncoming traffic.
Oh, I get it now.
Right,
yeah.
So
we're going to turn left. Please.
And we're going to turn left here, Tony. Okay, Tony, I noticed that you've put your signal on very late there. Just tell me what distance away from the...
6 car lengths away.
6 car lengths away,
and we're going to turn left.
Alright, okay. And what are the consequences of you putting on your signal too late, Tony?
Oh, I'd never do that.
You never do that?
No.
Okay. Alright. Okay, Tony, well, I noticed that you did actually put your left-hand signal there on about 2 car lengths away, which is quite dangerous. And the consequences of you putting your signal on too late are that you don't give people around you enough time to react to what you're about to do. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll guide you through the next emerge left. Sorry, the next time you turn left, and I'll tell you whereabouts you should be putting on your signal. About now, Tony, is about correct. So if you indicate left now.
No, we're turning right.
Oh, sorry, put a right signal on then. So that's about the correct distance.
That's about 6 car lengths.
That's about 6 car lengths, yeah. Now, we wouldn't always signal right 6 car lengths away, or left for that matter. Do you know under what circumstances we wouldn't?
I'll tell you, I'm going to change them on. I'm going to turn left here.
Okay. Do you know under what circumstances we wouldn't signal left or right 6 car lengths away?
And we're going to turn right here.
We're going to turn right here. So just talk me through when you're going to put on your signal now.
Oh, that's about 6 car lengths.
That's about 6 car lengths, yeah. So, sorry, just going back to the conversation again. Under what circumstances wouldn't we put a signal on 6 car lengths away, Tony?
Why not just finish with the subject that you're actually dealing with and find out what learning is taking place and why is it important?
All right, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, turning left.
And turn left here, Tony. That's good that you're indicating 6 car lengths away. So why is it important that we signal about 6 car lengths away from the end of the turning?
Oh, so give people time to react.
Okay, and what would be the consequences of you not indicating in enough, putting the signals on 6 car lengths away, Tony?
People wouldn't have time to react, or pedestrians wouldn't have time to react, and they might walk out and might run them over.
Absolutely.
At the roundabout, we're going to turn left.
At the roundabout, we're going to turn left, Tony. So, okay, Tony. Just cancel your signal for me, please, because that's quite dangerous what you've done there. And put it on now for me. Okay, I'll let you deal with this, and then we'll have a chat.
Leave it as no problem, don't worry.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the reason I told you to take off your indicators there, Tony, was because, again, I think you've put on a bit of a confusing signal. Now, I appreciate the fact I told you to indicate 6 car lengths away, but there are 2 circumstances. There is a circumstance under which you wouldn't signal 6 car lengths away, and that is precisely one of them, where you've got you've got an emerge just before the roundabout, or before a give way sign. Before the end of the road. And the reason for that is that by you putting on your signals 6 car lengths away there, you've got another turning in front of you. So the people that are coming out of this turning, they think that you're going to be turning left. So the consequences of you putting on your signal too early are that they might come out and cross your path, and you could go into them, causing an accident. Okay, so that is an instant when you wouldn't actually put on your signals 6 car lengths away. Okay.
And we're going to turn left.
And we're going to turn left here. So just tell me, Tony, why is it important that if there is a junction just before an emerge, we don't put on our signals?
Because there might be a car coming out of that emerge, yeah?
That's right, yeah. And what are the consequences of you putting your signal on too early there?
Well, I suppose that car might think I'm turning in there and think it's their opportunity to go.
Absolutely, yeah. And how can that be dangerous?
They might pull out in front of me, and I might hit them, or they might hit me.
That's right, Tony. Okay, so I think you've got a fair idea of that, so I'll hand that over to you now on the signal side. But I will keep my eye on it just in case it does reoccur.
That's crossing it.
Yeah. So what can you see ahead of you, Tony?
There's zebras, aren't there?
There's zebra crossings. How do you know there's zebra crossings?
Well, they're police beacons, isn't it?
Okay, good. Okay, and is there any other indicators that you can identify that would?
One, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
that's a long one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Are there any other indicators that you can spot on these crossings that will tell you that they're actually crossings?
Oh, the zigzag lines?
Zigzag lines, yeah. Now they're important, Tony. What can you tell me about the zigzag lines? What can you not do on the zigzag lines?
I mustn't park, isn't it?
You mustn't park, yeah. What are the consequences of you parking on the zigzag line, Tony?
Oh, I'll get 3 points on my licence.
You would indeed, but there's a slightly more severe consequence to that, and that is, and do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah, I'd be blocking people's view, yeah?
You would indeed, yeah. And the consequences of you blocking other people's view, what would the consequence be, Tony?
Pedestrians wouldn't be able to see see past my car, and they might not see the car coming behind me.
Well, that's true.
And the car might not see the pedestrian.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a two-way street, yeah. So
but it's okay to park on the zigzags once I'm past the crossing, though, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not, because the same rule applies. Because once you've passed the zigzag, once you've passed the crossing, the zigzag lines on the other side are there for a reason. And do you know what that reason is, Tony?
No.
Well, that reason is because you've got cars coming from the other side, Tony. If you were to park on there, you would then be blocking their vision for pedestrians that are potentially walking up to the crossing.
Yeah, I forgot about the ones coming up.
So that could be quite dangerous. So why is it important that we don't park on either of the zigzag lines, whether it's before or past the zebra crossing,
because
Tony?
I'd be blocking people's view of the crossing.
You would do. And why would that be dangerous, Tony?
Because the cars wouldn't be able to see the pedestrians, and the pedestrians wouldn't be able to see the cars.
Absolutely. And what are the consequences of you actually being parked there, Tony?
Well, I could actually get a pedestrian run over, couldn't I?
You could do, absolutely. Okay, Tony. So, where are you looking when you come up to these pedestrian crossings, Tony?
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah? And what are you particularly looking out for?
Yeah, pedestrians.
Yeah, pedestrians, other road users. There might be people on, old people on those mobility scooters, because they always use these as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
we're going to turn left.
And we're going to turn left here, Tony. Good. Okay. So what's the first thing you're going to do on approach to a crossing, Tony?
Have a good look at the crossing.
Have a good look at the crossing, yeah. But before you do that, what would you do before you had a look at the crossing? As soon as you identify a crossing, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Oh, check the mirror, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Why is it important that you check the mirror, Tony?
Because there could be some boy racer right at my backside, couldn't it?
Absolutely. And what are the consequences of you not checking your mirror early enough?
Well, if I have to stop at the crossing and I don't know he's that close, then I might stop and he might run in the back of you and push me up the crossing.
Fantastic, yeah, you're absolutely right, because if he did go into the back of you and did push you forward, there's potential there for you to go into the pedestrian crossing over that crossing. Good, that's excellent. Okay. Okay, and just tell me, Tony, how far away from the crossings would you actually start to scan?
Oh, as soon as I see them, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're going to turn left.
And we're going to turn left here, Tony. Okay, what are you looking at for here, Tony?
About pedestrian crossing the road.
Pedestrian crossing the road, yeah. If that pedestrian did actually step out in front of you, so whose right of way was it,
That's
Tony?
a crossing here, isn't it?
There's a crossing here, yeah. Okay, this is important that you don't slow down at these crossings, Tony, because that is not actually a crossing. That's a safe haven. They call them a safe haven.
No, it's not a crossing.
It's not a crossing at all, no. That's potentially somewhere where pedestrian can stop safely, and there to be, and if they're crossing the road. So if they were stopped there, you wouldn't stop for them, and you wouldn't stop for them to cross, basically, because it's not their right of way. Okay.
No, so to step off, I just swerve around them, yeah?
No, if they stepped off, what the law says that if a pedestrian puts their foot into the road, then it becomes their right of way. So then you've got to give way to them. But like a zebra crossing, for example, where you've got to wait for pedestrians, the same rules wouldn't apply here.
So if they're standing there,
Yeah.
I don't stop for them.
Yeah.
But if they step off, I do stop for them.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. They can't run them over, can they?
No.
But my wife says.
Yeah.
She said the best way to get rid of the buggers. Yeah. Is wave them across.
Yeah. Now it's very important that you don't do that, Tony.
What's wrong?
Because well, what the potential danger there could be, because you might wave them across, but you might be oblivious to something else coming on the opposite side. So, for example, if you were to wave a pedestrian over from that side, okay, and there was a car coming round this bend here at quite high speed, you could potentially cause an accident, and you could be responsible for them getting run over.
Oh, so my wife is wrong then?
Yes, she is.
Oh, I'll let you tell her, yeah?
I'll leave that to you, Matt.
So there must be some way of telling whether these pedestrians have pressed these bloody buttons, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a way, Tony, because if you look on approach, when you look to these pedestrian crossings, they've got small boxes on them, and whenever you press
at the roundabout, we're going to turn left.
At the roundabout, we're gonna turn left. On approach to these, again, Tony, you've put on a left signal there.
Yeah,
I did tell you.
Yeah, that was the idea, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You should have got him a good question there, shouldn't you?
Yeah, sorry.
Be proactive, yeah?
Yeah, sorry. It's important that, yeah, we've gone round there again, Tony, and you did make the same mistake, but you've taken it off now. So just remind me, Tony, why is it important that you don't signal left?
I would have confused that car that was coming up to the junction there, wouldn't
Absolutely, you would have done. And what are the consequences of you putting your signal on too early in the situation?
He'd have pulled out in front of me, wouldn't he?
He would have, and
I'd have hit him.
You would have, yeah, okay. So can you see the danger of putting on a signal too soon now?
Yeah. Just coming out of roll, you can see why I've done it, yeah?
Yeah, I can do, yeah. Because you wanted me to prompt you on that.
Well, all you had to do and say, all you had to say to me was, where are you going to indicate here, and I would have told you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Right, going back to these pedestrian crossings.
Oh, right, yeah.
You asked me how would you know if someone was about to cross? Well, you've got these little boxes on the side of them that people cross. I mean, You've actually used pedestrian crossings as a pedestrian yourself, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So what do you do when you come up to a pedestrian crossing and you want to cross?
Now we're going to turn left.
We're going to turn left here.
Oh, if it's them control ones, I press that little button.
Right, you do indeed. And what happens when you press the button, Tony?
Depends on what kind of crossing it is.
Yeah. Well, you get a light come up, don't you? You usually a red man that comes up and it becomes illuminated.
Well, on these puffin crossings, I get a little red light come on, it's a button.
Well, that's right. So what we need to be doing is we need to be actively looking, we need to be proactive, and we need to be looking ahead on these crossings for these red lights.
All right.
Because it gives you an indication of the fact that there's someone standing there and they may potentially turn to red. Okay. So why is it important that we are proactive when we look ahead for these red lights that are coming on, Tony?
Well, if I see the red lights on, then I know that somebody's pressed the button and the lights are going to change.
Yeah, and
they may have walked off, and they may have walked away, mightn't they?
Sure. And what are the consequences of you not being proactive and thinking ahead for these crossings and anticipating the light on these crossings, Tony?
Well, I might not know they're going to change, and they might change, and I might have to stop very, very quickly. Absolutely,
yeah. And that's also another reason for you to be checking your mirror every 5 seconds to update yourself, isn't it?
So this is not a crossing?
This is not a crossing, Tony. This is what we call a safe haven. It's a place where pedestrians can cross, but you don't have to give them priority. And just like anywhere else in the road, if they are stopped there, then again you wouldn't beckon them across. What are the dangers of you beckoning pedestrians across, Tony?
I might get run over by another vehicle, yeah?
That's right, yeah. And because they might not see they might be just concentrating on your signal when you're beckoning them across, and they might not look to the other side and see oncoming traffic. Okay, yeah, good.
But I should slow right down just in case they walk out in front of me. Yeah?
No, you shouldn't slow down at all, because by slowing down, Tony, what you're doing is you're giving them an indication. It's a kind of signal for them to cross.
Oh, okay.
And the people behind you, because it's not a pedestrian crossing, are not going to anticipate that. So if they're not anticipating for you to stop and give way, it's probable that they might go into the back of you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so can you see how that can be quite dangerous?
Yeah.
So why is it important for you not to slow your speed on approach to these crossings, Tony? Sorry, not these crossings, these safe havens, Tony.
No, because they might think I'm stopping them.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the consequences of you slowing your speed down, Tony?
Well, if they think I'm stopping for them, they're going to walk out, aren't they? They might get run over by the moped that's coming up behind me or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Or alternatively, if the car behind you is not anticipating you stopping, it might go into you and also push you into the pedestrian in front of you. Okay, Tony. I'm glad you understand that.
So it's okay to overtake on approach to a crossing, isn't it?
That's again very, very dangerous, Tony.
Is it?
Overtaking on approach to a crossing. Why do you think it's dangerous? Or why can you see it would potentially be dangerous?
Well, I thought it was okay.
Well, it would be dangerous because it would be dangerous, and it would be dangerous to overtake on a crossing because you would have to increase your speed, Tony. And remember, there's pedestrians at these crossings, and you want to keep your speed down as much as possible so that if you did need to stop or take evasive actions, you're already at a slow speed, so it will take far less longer for you to stop.
Yeah, I'm talking about within these zigzags. It's okay to overtake there as long as I don't park there.
Oh right, no, you can't actually overtake on these zigzag lines, Tony. It's dangerous for you to do that unless you've got a parked vehicle, it's broken down or something. And the reason you can't overtake is because again
that wouldn't be overtaking, would it?
That wouldn't be overtaking. No, you're right, because he's parked and you're going round it, aren't you? Okay, rewind. Okay, Tony, it would be dangerous for you to overtake on zigzag lines because, well, firstly, it's against the law and you'd get 3 points. And secondly, it's dangerous because whenever you are overtaking, you're increasing your speed and you could potentially run over pedestrians while they're crossing. Is that right? I'm sure you get out of me soon.
So I can't overtake anybody within them zigzags?
No, that's not strictly true. You can overtake cyclists, providing they're going at a very slow speed on these.
So I have to judge the speed of the cyclist?
Yeah, you do.
Do I? How do I do that?
Well, that's an interesting.
More complicated than all, is it?
Oh, I mean, well, let's think about this logically. What sort of speed do you think you would be doing on approach to a pedestrian crossing, Tony?
Yeah, me or the cyclist?
You.
The speed limit of the road, isn't it?
Well, not really, because whenever you're approaching a crossing, and if you see people there, you're immediately going to slow your speed down anyway, aren't you? After you've checked your rear view mirror. Sorry, your central mirror. So if they're going, well, I'm digging a can of worms, didn't I? Go on, get me out of this one.
Sorry?
Get me out of this one.
What was the question actually?
The question you asked me was, could you overtake anyone? And I said, you could overtake cyclists. And then you said, how would I judge their speed?